back to We Watched the Movie. I'm Mike, he's Jay. I said, God damn, this is the Power Rangers spoiler review. This is where we give spoilers.
Slash.
So if you haven't seen Power Rangers, none of these spoilers would ruin the movie.
No,
I feel like, because it's a Power Rangers movie. You're gonna love it either way if you're a fan of Power Rangers. But there are spoilers in this.
Well, I would use that Power Rangers spoiler review. I said slash worst movie theater experience ever.
We got to talk about that. So I got to preface this with two things. Number one, if we missed an Easter egg, or if we missed a spoiler in this movie, and someone's like, you didn't even know fucking YouTube shit.
Like the Dane Cook thing, they're so mad they hit the fucking spacebar with their forehead.
If we did miss something, it's because this was the worst theater experience.
Oh my god, guys.
Number one, and I've had some fucking bad ones. This is the worst, absolute worst movie theater experience I've ever had in my life. And at the end of the video, we're going to talk about that, because there's a lot to say about it.
Oh my god.
There's a lot to say about it.
Fuck those fuckers!
And two, I want to give a quick shout out real quick. When you guys are done watching this video, or when we piss you off, and probably...
They probably clicked off by now.
We'll probably gross you out in some way or offend you. Definitely go check out a guy named Drums.
He likes drums a lot. He's a cool guy. He actually is a cool dude.
Really good movie reviews, the exact same kind of stuff that we do here. I love watching his videos. I think you guys will too. So I'm going to put his link down below for you guys to go check out. Please go check him out because he's awesome. So
really underrated YouTuber.
Definitely. I don't know where I was going.
On to the show.
I'm scared right now. I'm having a panic attack, Steven.
Get away from me, Billy.
Opening scene, right?
Okay.
The opening scene is one of the biggest spoilers there are. The movie opens, and immediately I'm like, I can take this seriously. I can take this fucking movie seriously. Because
they had like I want to say really, when you get into it, I'll let you do it, but I'm just saying, it felt like some more cocaine.
Don't say that. People already accuse us of cocaine. We're just excited about movies, goddammit!
Look, we can't afford the real cocaine. We get the generic shit off the street.
But really, y'all got me?
Seriously.
I've never done that.
It's very gritty. We mentioned that in the non-spoiler review. I almost felt like it was like, almost in some way, not exactly, but some way, James Cameron T2 territory.
Now that's just crazy talk.
No, like T2 mixed with like Jurassic Park.
I'd go Michael Bay if he made Green Lantern.
Okay, well that's fine. Okay, so
it looked good though.
Yeah.
The movie looks good. We'll agree on that.
So tell them what they want to hear.
Tell them about the Twinkie.
What about the Twinkie?
So yeah, no. The movie opens up immediately as soon as you see the action and the space stuff. This is the special effects to me look exactly like what Green Lantern wanted to be when it came out years ago.
Right.
Special effects wise, it looks so spacey and fun and batshit and Michael Bayish and just it's so expensive and good. And just to see the Power Rangers in that form is just a blasty blast for fans. Because as much as we've all loved Power Rangers, even as a kid, you watched it going, man, this shit would look good if they took it seriously for 5 seconds.
And, they did sometimes, but every once in a while they would, every once in a while it'd be serious. Then they would slip back into that corny, cheesy stuff. And I don't think any of us, as we got older, wouldn't always think, what would it be like to have more of an edgier Power Rangers?
Yeah.
And
not even dark, but just like
kind of
taken seriously. And this movie actually does that. It actually takes that cheesiness, but keeps the cool and adds real money and special effects to it, and that's what makes the whole movie. Because there are problems with it, but the special effects, and they take it seriously enough to make it so fucking cool. But anyways, the opening of the movie, it lets you know that immediately. There's this crazy war scene, and Heisenberg is crawling through the ground. Yeah. The other Rangers are dead, and they're aliens. They're like, and this is really Green Lantern-ish. This is pretty much the plot from Green Lantern. The alien, like the mask comes off, and the alien's like, oh, that's flicking flutes.
Flicking flutes.
Yeah, and basically all the Power Rangers are dead. And Rita was a Green Ranger.
Which I think we called that early on. And I mean, Mike and I talked about that early on, that it was possible that Rita was the Green Ranger because she was dressed in green. It wasn't...
Well, you called that. I thought it was bullshit.
Well, it was an original idea. I mean, it wasn't our original idea or my original idea. I mean, I'd heard the rumors online. I was like, there's some significance to that because, there's a green power coin on her little staff and she's dressed in green, so who knows. But I think the big shocking thing was in the very opening sequence, is you find out fucking Zordon was the Red Ranger. He was the leader of the team. He did have this team. They all died. And then in order to keep Rita from possessing the Zeo Crystal...
He was the one who knocks, motherfucker!
Thank you, Tyrese.
Favorite scene of Breaking Bad.
But yes, but he prevents Rita from getting control of the Zeo Crystal, which is badass because, as we know, the Zeo Rangers came in after the Power Rangers original went off. Which is cool as hell that was acknowledgement. And
we had a mini argument in the theater about that. Jay was like, "That's the Zeo Rangers," and I was like, "Nobody cares about the Zeo Rangers, Jay." He was like, well, "Fuck you."
They're stronger and faster than before. But the thing is, in order to prevent Rita from gaining control, that he tells Alpha, which by the way, Alpha's not bad. I mean, I thought in the trailers he looked like kind of shit. He's actually not bad.
He was whatever for me.
Yeah, but you know,
I love Bill Hader, but
he calls a meteor strike in on Earth, which I guess they just had meteors lying around in a spaceship. And it crashes into Earth, and this, like, again, it's during the Jurassic period, so or it's not called the Jurassic period. They call it something else. I don't know. I don't fucking remember anthropology. So they call it a meteor strike to prevent Rita from getting control, and then he buries the power crystals into the dirt and said, you know, make sure you find some worthy motherfuckers and make sure they're teenagers with attitude. And, you know, he buries them, and that was it. But it was cool to see that.
Not only did the alien look like El Sabinur from Green Lantern, but it's the same story. I almost expected him to go grab Ryan Reynolds and him to be in a green orb, like, coming down to him. But no, it's still cool though. Like, and then not only that scene takes place, but right after it, and by the way, it's ironic that Heisenberg's burying shit in the desert somewhere.
You never learned your lessons.
But so he gets buried for millions of years, waiting on the perfect set of circumstances, because Alpha 5 takes his essence.
Oh my God.
Do it slow, do it sensual. He takes his essence and puts it into the ship.
The command center, basically.
Keeping him alive. So at some point, when the Rangers team forms again, he can come back to life in this one moment of craziness. Weird science. But the next scene after that...
From my heart and from my hand.
But the next scene after that, we get introduced to Jason, and they're doing a prank on the other football team, and they're bringing a bull, or whatever, it was a cow, or a cow, bull.
But you know, it's weird, it's a cow, but they already, like, right in that scene, they kind of go adult level. Because the guy's really he's like, I milked the cow, he's like, it's not a girl. He's like, what do you mean? He's like, it's got an udder. He's like, is there one udder? He's like, yeah.
And you think, you're like,
I was like, wow.
They just referenced an animal cock.
Getting jacked off, yeah.
It was weird. Like, but they referenced an animal. Let's just take a moment to appreciate
I was appreciating
because I did in the movie theater. I'm watching it, I'm going, they just referenced animal cock in a Power Rangers movie.
I know, but you know, it's weird because it's Power Rangers, so I was like, oh,
that kid is back on the escalator.
I know, it was like that. It was weird. Like, it's like if your mom ever said bitch and you aren't used to her cussing, you're like, oh, sugar.
It was so weird. Like, but they went one step too far. They, like,
it was fun though.
That was enough. But then all of a sudden, you get this glorious shot of the cow dick.
Yeah, he looks at it. Yeah.
They're like, if I can zoom into the cow dick, just in case you didn't know, we're talking about animal dick. It's just
so that sets the tone. There's like, you know, penis jokes.
We're gonna do some crazy shit tonight.
As you find out, Zordon was the Red Ranger, Rita was a Green Ranger. She betrayed the Rangers. Like, there's so like immediately it sets the tone for this kind of thing for the whole movie, and it never really stops. It never goes anywhere. And you know, I thought at first I was like, okay, well, this is really great for the first like 10 minutes of this movie or 15. It's gonna be great. And then I'm like, okay, well, at some point the cheesy factor is gonna come in, and they're gonna lose all the older fans. And they never really left off. I mean, they kept going. Yeah. I mean, they say bullshit. They say ass.
There's a yippee-ki-yay motherfucker joke.
Almost, yeah, at the end. I mean, I'm like, wow, you guys have done great jobs.
And the next scene after that even blew me away. It didn't just blow me.
Blew you away.
That'd be weird.
Breaking Benjamin.
It's like the ring. But I'm gonna blow you.
Are you like eating an ass?
I just coming out of the screen to blow me.
Oh. That'd be weird.
I hope kids aren't
That's like Last Action Hero.
It's like, go to bed. But no, the next scene after that, like when he escapes, it's this. They went hardcore with this escape scene because the cops show up to the prank and break up the prank, and they went really visceral with it. Like he's in the car, and it's like you see through his eyes, and he backs into a cop car, and then he's stupidly like you live in a small town. Like if you run into a cop car with your truck, you are done. Stop. It's over.
Well, it's
he's still. But they can see your license plate. You're done. So, but he tries to get away, and. I was really impressed with the way the scene was shot. It scared me. Like you're watching, like, and all of a sudden a car will come out and hit him, and you're like, oh fuck, I'm scared right now. Like, I'm not ready for this.
The camera angles were fucking great.
It was awesome.
I mean, and I would never have thought that for a Power Rangers movie, but it's really visceral and like just like in your face, and like it felt like Cops. Like an episode of Cops, like a dude's in the back with the camera, and you can see it from the back seat, and you know over Jason's shoulder as he's driving, and it was scary as hell. You don't know what's gonna happen next. It was like a ride of your life.
It was crazy,
yeah. And it was good though.
And then he wrecks, and that scene looks even cooler because, like, I mean, it was just such good camera work. It's like weird. They really put their dick out for that one scene in particular. It was really like out there. So he wrecks, and basically the whole story is he has to go to detention forever in summer school, and he goes, and that's where he meets the other Power Rangers because they all have their own problems. The Yellow Ranger.
Trini.
Trini, she has her problems, and they actually throw in a lesbian moment into the film.
Not like a moment.
LBGT stuff, and it's not. Yeah, it's just like with the Beauty and the Beast
talking,
thing. Like, how big of a moment is it?
Yeah. She's just talking about that she's. We kind of assume she's bisexual or something.
Yeah, she basically just. She's like everybody's talking about what problems they have, and she's like, I have problems with dating, and they're like, boys, and she's like.
But it's funny that because Zach who's the cool kid, he was like boyfriend problems, and she's like, no, he's like. Girlfriend problems? Like he was like into it. He's like, oh yeah.
Giggity. They all have these own little things. What I find crazy is the Blue Ranger is actually autistic. He says I'm on the spectrum, and I absolutely love that. I love that they made one of the characters that way, and it's not one of those things where they force in this political stuff. It actually went with his character really, really well, and he turned out that was my favorite Ranger of the whole thing by far.
He used to go to the mines with his dad, and his dad died, and that used to be his favorite thing to do. And he makes friends with Jason when Jason stands up for him and beats the shit out of that. Well, they didn't really pimp slaps.
I love that
bully.
scene.
I know.
I love that. That set up the entire character of Jason for me.
And Jason, defends him, and then he wants to hang out with Jason. Jason's like, I got something. I'm on house arrest, and he helps Jason get out of house arrest. They go up to the mine together, and as it goes on, he tells the team, and when they gather together, when they assemble, that I don't think about my dad as much anymore because I have you guys. You guys are my friends, and you guys make me feel good. And he's actually the first one to morph. Now we'll get into the morphing situation in just a second, but the whole idea behind Billy is really cool because they make him the heart of the team, the one that really binds them together. And
character portraits, my favorite part of the whole.
Yeah, and they really did a really good job with Billy. Now, as far when I was talking about the morphing aspect of it, when they find these coins and they start getting these superpowers without the coins, without morphing, you find out the coins never leave their hand. If they move to one room, like Jason goes to the bathroom and he puts his little coin on the table, it moves and follows it. And it also makes them super resilient to any kind of damage. I mean, they get hit by a fucking train. Like they're trying to outrace the train track after they blow up this mine to find those coins, and they get hit by a train and they're okay. Like there's nothing wrong with them. And you find out more and more about how it goes on. But the problem is they can't access their armor. They can't access the Power Ranger Matrix or the morphing.
Something's wrong.
Well, because they're not connected.
You get what they're going for.
Yeah.
You get what they're going for, and that's my point. Like the job they had to take this from a show to what it is really, really hard, and they managed to do it successfully. But moments like that, when they try to force that cohesion, it's so clunky. It's very, very clunky, and the writing is off, and it's and that's the only thing I can say. But for me, I didn't care.
No, and I think though it is clunky, and sometimes it does call it corny. But I think the biggest thing about that, the whole idea about what they were doing was it was charming. It was charming in its own way because you were like, hey, I get it.
I see what they're reaching for.
Yeah, I got what they were going for. And it's like Kiss. I mean, are they great solo artists? Maybe, but together they're a god. So, but yeah, it was cool to see that. I mean, it was neat to see that kind of attention to detail with the whole morphing grid, because I never even thought about that before. I just thought you could get your little fucking coin out and do it.
And that brings up the whole thing about Zordon too, because Bryan Cranston's kind of a cunt. Zordon's kind of cunty at first. He actually has a character arc. Who would have thought the blob in the water would have a character arc? He's so mysterious and stuff. Cool, but he does, because when it starts out, all of a sudden he's like, no, the coins wouldn't be wrong. The Green Lantern ring wouldn't be wrong, and pick the right guy.
Yeah.
They're not getting along, nothing's working out, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, another problem with the writing, but whatever, Zordon's like, no, they're not the Rangers, fuck it, I'm done. And then Jason becomes a leader in that moment, and he walks in there and he's like, fuck you and your shit. Fuck you and your clique you claim, Zordon. He's like, this is my fucking team, and we're gonna do it with or without you.
I'm not going to jail for you or for anybody.
So Zordon's whole thing comes out, and he's like, you just wanted us to form a team so that you could come out and lead us.
The whole idea is that if they morph, Zordon can come back to life.
In a split second.
Yeah, he can come back to life. Now, let's get into what happens really to kind of, that transforms this whole movie and makes Zordon and makes the Rangers the Rangers. Billy dies. Billy dies. Yeah, let's just go ahead and it's that's like saying, hey, I don't know. It's like, just say it. You got AIDS. You have AIDS. I don't know. It's like no preamble. But yes, he dies. Rita kills him, and the team is really distraught, and Billy was always the guy. He kept a little note in his pocket that said we should form a team. He loved all that interaction the team with the guys were having and stuff, the girls and guys. And they bring him back to Zordon. They ask him to bring him back to life, and Zordon says I can't do it. But they start morphing, And then when they start morphing, when they unlock the morphing grid, at that point, Zordon could step through the grid and come back to life, but he sacrifices that one chance to come back to life to bring Billy back to life.
And we like Zordon again.
Yeah, and then Zordon's like, yes, you bubblehead motherfucker, I love you. Heisenberg getting paid. But anyway, it was great. That was so cool. And, you know, it's cheesy and corny. It's like, you know, watching fireworks over the majestic kingdom of Walt Disney, but you're like,
it was clunky.
I'm here at Disney
It was
World.
clunky getting to that point, but when Zordon sacrifices his moment to save him, I'm like, that's some Power Rangers shit. I love it. I was absolutely totally back in at that point.
And then Rita, we don't really explore much with the fact what Rita was a Green Ranger. She betrayed the team. You find that out from Zordon. I don't really understand the reasoning. Well, she wanted the Zeo Crystal. She wanted the power of the Zeo Crystal because apparently the Zeo Crystal is like all powerful.
Bitches always want that Zeo Crystal.
Gold digging bitch. And speaking of gold, that's where Goldar comes in. And but again, she comes back. When she comes back, she becomes scary as hell, dude. Like,
she is a witch. She's like a witch.
And it's exactly what Rita...
She was scarier than the actual movie The Witch.
Yeah, and she was actually, you know, always, I think, what Rita was supposed to be, like this kind of malevolent force that just wants one thing, power over everything, and will sacrifice anything in her way to get it. And when you see her as she develops further into the movie, again, there's not much backstory to her other than that she betrayed the original Rangers with Zordon, and that's where they hate each other. So Alpha 5, in an effort to maybe get them to look what they're fighting for, like almost to address their materialism, he shows them the Zords. And he's like, once you unlock the morphing grid, you become connected to these Zords, and you become one with them, and they're badass. I mean, they look fucking amazing, guys. Like the T-Rex, the Mastodon, the Tyrannosaurus, they're all amazing. And you know, I guess to Alpha 5 and Zordon, like getting them to that point, they're going to be able to, you know, do this and unlock the morphing grid. They never really do that, but when you get towards the end of the movie and they do become Power Rangers, and they unlock the grid. When the Rangers come out with their Zords, man, it fucking goes to a level of bad. Because the first time they come out of the mountain, this is what we were talking about in the non-spoiler review. The fan service is at the ultimate pendulum. At that point, it's like clock struck zero, bitch. Because you have the go Power Rangers, like the whole, like the old school song.
It's intense, dude.
And it's great. I was like, oh my god, like
it's everything at once. Because you wait. I mean, you wait. Like right when they discover the Temple of Doom, like you're like, oh, we're gonna see and they're like, oh no, the fucking thing. It's like buying a new phone and you can't get Spotify to work. Like it's like you're so excited, and then like you have to wait a little bit longer. And so they wait 2/3 of the movie, and they make you wait for it. It's good, but they make you wait for it. And finally, when they kick in, the suits come out, the putties come out, the fighting comes out, the Megazord comes out. It all fucking comes out at once. And it's like, you look like fucking Will Ferrell in Night at the Roxbury when he walks to the club, he's like, sup.
It's hottie overload.
You can't handle it. It's amazing.
But you know, and that's what I'm saying, like, it's like you're not ashamed at that point to be like, I love this show. I loved it when I was growing up.
I felt, it was like when I watched Avengers, man, at that point I was like,
yeah, the Go-Go Power Rangers song is going on, hardcore strong. The Zords are flying through. You're just like, oh my god, please don't stop that song. Let's go all the way. And also when Jason brings up the sword, you saw that in the trailer. Fucking badass. You know, they go and fight Goldar. And Goldar doesn't speak. Goldar's just a monster that Rita creates out of gold, which is fine.
They do the Make My Monsters
Which is fine. I mean, Goldar was always stupid in the show. He's like, Rita,
but he's fucking huge, man. And
big.
to me, like their own little like vehicles, they seemed almost smallish.
They are compared to him.
Yeah.
But when they fucking become the Megazord,
and they do it in a cool way too. Like it's weird. I don't quite understand the science.
They got like knocked over
because they're gonna die. Like it's over with, right? Like they band together and they're like, fuck it.
That was a cool scene though, because he's like, hold the line, and they're all trying to hold on. Yeah, he's like, hold the line, hold door. Like, yeah, they can't. But you know, Jason and the team, they're trying to stop Goldar from going and digging into the earth to get the Zeo Crystal. And they keep getting pushed back and pushed back and pushed back, and they're passing out, I guess, from exhaustion. When they went over the edge, how do they combine? Like,
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. The science doesn't make sense to me. I don't know how to explain it again, but it's fucking Power Rangers, so I don't care.
Yeah.
They get pushed into hell together, basically. They're in this fiery pit, and then they rise back up because they were willing to sacrifice themselves for each other. They just wanted to be together when they died, trying to save their shitty little town. And they come back up as fucking Megazord. And it's weird. I don't know how they're going to fix that later in movies or how, like I said, the science works. The science, Power Rangers.
That's Power Rangers.
Again, it's Power Rangers.
But then again, if you were going to be technical, though, it's kind of cool, though, because you actually see, like, I always, when I was a kid, wondered, why they were all in one little pod together and they controlled each like aspect of the machine.
Yeah.
You see like Billy in one leg, you know, Zach in one leg, and then Kimberly and Trini on the arm, and Jason in the middle. So they all have to work together to make it fucking move.
This is what it felt like.
Yeah.
It felt like the first time you played Halo with your friends and you decided, let's take this shit seriously, guys.
Yeah.
Let's meet over here by the satellite and then move towards the other team. Watching them work together in that moment
was cool
to
as
figure
fuck,
out where I'll move the legs, you move the arms, and they like literally fall over at one point. It's like you said, something that you've always wondered how it worked, and B, is exactly like that moment when you're with your friends trying to figure out how to play Call of Duty or whatever.
Halo is like we're all gonna get in the mammoth tank, but we have no idea how it's gonna work.
I got giddy as fuck, dude. He's
so
like,
fun.
no, John, move your legs.
I was
like, red team go, red team go. It was so fucking cool. I loved it. And then all of a sudden, like when he comes out with the punch to Goldar's face, I never get like this in the theater, and I make fun of people who do, but I was like, yeah, get that motherfucker.
It was, man. It was so hype.
Awesome.
It was so hype as fuck. Yeah. And then at the end of the movie, you know, they ultimately wind up defeating Goldar, and they bitch slap fucking Rita away.
Yeah.
But she doesn't lose. I don't guess she lost her because they tell Rita like, give us your green coin, and she's like, no, I'm never gonna give up to y'all. And,
It's like Zordon?
Yeah, and
fucking anything but Zordon.
so they bitch slap her into space, and you see her freezing, but she's going towards the moon.
Yeah.
Which is funny because in the original Power Rangers, that's where she sets up her base.
And I wondered how they were gonna do that
Well,
because he does backhander. Like,
Yeah, he does. And then that one, you know, Billy's like, did you just backhand her? He's like,
fuck your couch.
He's like, yeah, I did. Yeah, I just backhanded her. I'm like, good for you, man.
He likes to slap people.
I know. And then, you know, he backhanded her away, and the movie kind of, you know, they all come together. And
It was
then,
very Batman vs Superman.
Yeah, and
she's
Zordon-
floating in space.
and
like,
she kind of freezes up.
Yeah, it reminded
but you
me
know
of
she's
that.
not dead.
Yeah.
And, you know, Zordon's congratulating them on doing this, and then Jason walks into the command center and turns the sword in, and Zordon's like, you can keep it, you earned it. He's like, I'll be around when you need me, or we'll all be around. So you know they don't just hang out at the command center like the Juice Club, but they go back to school and they're in the detention. It's cool, man. They're all like still being cool guys together. And then
they saved some stuff for the sequel, like
Yeah.
some fan service, like you said, the Angel, the Juice Bar, Bulk and Skull.
there's things
They saved it. I think they saved some of this stuff because the rumors that there's going to be 6 movies now.
Well, I know that I thought the red-haired kid would be like Skull or something.
Sort of, but
he never really. They never.
Yeah.
He had a different name, but there is an end credit scene, and Mike and I just took a guess. Like when the credits roll on this, we're like, oh, let's just hang out and see what happens.
Oliver.
And Tommy does. Like, yeah, man, the greatest fucking Ranger of all, bitch.
Fuck you, Red Ranger all day.
He showed up. What happens is you don't see him.
Motherfucker.
You're like, well, you know, the detention teacher is like, well, we have a new student just joining us, Tommy Oliver, and he's like, Tommy Oliver, and he's like reading it, and
They did the Bueller thing.
yeah, and you see the camera starts zooming in on a seat for Tommy Oliver. It's empty with a green like little jacket across it, and that's it. And then it cuts to a scene in the hallway where Billy like explodes a locker, and I guess you were like, what did he say?
I don't know.
He was like, he said something, and that was it. That was the entire end sequence. But dude, apparently, and this is what I found out a couple of days ago, they're making a 6-movie thing with this. I cannot fucking wait.
I know, it's amazing, and this movie warrants it. Like, so that's all the stuff that happens in the movie. I give it for me, it's a two-edged sword. I think you're going to have people who are going in it and watching it as a movie. Just a movie that just came out of nowhere and has nothing to do with Power Rangers and didn't have all this weight on its back. You're just looking at it as a movie. It's got writing issues and it's got a lot of clunkiness to it and all this stuff, whatever. I understand a 7.5 out of a 10. It's still a decent movie to me, even in that respect. As a fucking Power Rangers fan, though, they did the impossible and they made the Power Rangers semi-serious but yet still fun and look fucking amazing on screen. Holy shit, it's a 9 out of 10 for me. Beyond my wildest expectations. I fucking loved it.
A 9 out of 10 for me as well. It gave everything that I've ever wanted as a kid to fucking finally see a Power Rangers movie as an adult and be like, you know what, I can get behind this. I'm not corned out. I'm not cheesed out.
It's hard for me to imagine anybody who was a huge fan of the show in the 90s not liking the movie. And if you were and you didn't, cool. Tell me why. I'm not arguing.
I don't know.
I'm just saying it's.
I like Beetleborgs. Beetleborgs for life. VR Troopers.
I can't imagine an original fan not enjoying the shit out of what we just watched or having any problems with it whatsoever.
Because guys, you know what's going to happen? In the second one, we're going to get the Green Ranger origin story, and then in the third, we're gonna get the White Ranger.
Again, if we miss something, and by the way, they do throw a fan service. You see Amy Jo Johnson and Jason David Frank taking selfies, and they look way too CGI. But if we missed anything, it's because this was the worst theater experience of all time. Literally, we sat down. We sat down in like the 4th row or whatever. Almost nobody around us. The theater was getting full, but we picked that perfect little nest, like, you know, moviegoers are so good at doing.
Yeah.
And it's our local theater, which we don't go to a whole lot because this can happen.
Shit.
This can happen here. They upgraded recently, and it's okay, but still the clientele sometimes. But we usually travel 20 minutes down the road to another nicer theater. But this family comes in and they sit behind us, and it's like I barely saw them. I just saw like maybe 2 boys, a mom, and a dad, and you know, they sat literally right behind us. And holy fuck and shit, the kids were so. I could handle the kids. The kids were fine. They said one or two things, like when the guy they're sitting around talking to the fire. The kid's like, "Is that a beer?" And Dad's like, "No, son, that's a root beer."
No, bitch, it's a beer. They're having a beer.
Those kids were fine. Like, you expect a kid to blurt out something once or twice. That's fine. The mom. I've never ever sat with anybody that's fucking obnoxious in the theater. She literally she broke all the rules.
Everything.
There are rules. And the rules are A, just shut the fuck up. B, chew quietly, popcorn's fucking loud. C, do not be a repeater and repeat shit out loud. We're all here, we all saw the same thing, we don't need you to recap the joke loudly.
She wouldn't shut the fuck up. She narrated the whole fucking movie like, "That's the Green Ranger's fucking coin! That's the Red Ranger!" And then the dad would say something in a quiet, hushed tone, like, "That's the Blue Ranger! That was David Yost a long time ago." I wanted to fucking turn around.
It wasn't even that smart. Like,
I didn't know that. I know, but I know.
It was just like, "I like action, not an explosion. Anybody got me fire."
I wanted to give her some credit, but I wanted to turn around, and I'm talking about David Carradine kicked this bitch's fucking head off, jackwagging her fucking jaw.
She would comment on everything fucking happening, the whole fucking movie. And not only that, but when things were quiet, when it was a boring moment and nothing was happening in the movie, she would fill in that space of her fucking cuntedness by literally eating as loud as possible. And she would not just crunch the popcorn, which people do, and I understand it's crunchy food, but she would slurp popcorn. How the fuck do you slurp popcorn? She would...
Yeah, I know.
I just want to fucking die. I don't want to be on Earth anymore.
At that point, I reached a new level of nirvana with patience because I was like, I will be one with the Iron Fist. I will find the glow.
Dude,
I will not get away. No, dude, I'm serious. Like, I was so fucking pissed because you're right. The slurping of the popcorn was bad because it came on the heels of that obnoxious donkey laugh that.
And it wasn't a natural laugh. It was a laugh that says, "I want everyone to know I think this is funny."
But I was listening to her. I'm like, bitch, have you never in your life eaten food other than baby food? Like, you're slurping this shit down like it's going out of style. But she wouldn't stop. She wouldn't stop. She never stopped. So Mike and I moved to another seat. We fucking finally left that atrociousness. We had 30 or 35 minutes left of the movie. We went to the back of the fucking theater. And guess where we wound up? In the fucking briar patch of fucking bitches that wouldn't shut the fuck up on their phones and talking to each other about who they're gonna suck dick in high school tomorrow. Like, they wouldn't shut up because, I'm not kidding. We left a bad situation and almost went to a worse situation because these 2 girls, we thought they were gonna be quiet. They were sitting back there like, okay. They kind of spoke a little bit, no big deal, little quiet talks. Then all of a sudden they're like, "So seriously, I want to fuck Teddy, and Teddy said want to fuck me, but I think he might have an STD, but I'm still going to fuck him because I took health class, and I think that I can do it. So what do you think, Tina? Do you think it's okay? Do you think that Sophia will find out? I don't know if she will." I'm not kidding. I mean, that wasn't exactly what they said, but it was to the gist of what they said.
And then not only that, but they started fucking kicking our chairs. And at this point, you might say, "Why didn't you just turn around and shush them?" The first case situation, there was kids involved, and I didn't want to get involved with someone's kids. And I just didn't. I didn't want to go there. The second situation, I did. It was like getting to heaven. It was like going to hell. Like, "Oh shit, this sucks." And then like the fucking Scrooge comes down. And he's like, "I'm fucking with you. Let's go to heaven." And then you get to heaven, and it's God. And he's like, "Wait, welcome. You can have all the stuff you want here." But then all of a sudden, God's like, "I'm just kidding," and he fucking morphs into Satan because that's what happened. Now we sat down. I was like, the nightmare's over. We can enjoy the last act of this movie. And then as soon as like my pulse settled, it was like,
no, that was fucking like Wrath of Conscience. Like, it has begun.
So after like 10 minutes of this shit, I waited to a quiet point and I was like, Jesus Christ.
It was so bad,
and
guys.
at this point, I was afraid to turn around or say anything because I didn't know how old they were. But at one point, I lost it and I was like, "Shut up!" And then, but it was during a really loud scene, and then I could hear them get louder on top of that, and I was like, I don't know how old they are.
Like,
I don't know I'm gonna end up on the news. If I open my mouth at all, this is gonna get really fucking like, it's gonna be like Blade at the nightclub in here. Like I'm just gonna kill everybody, and it's gonna be horrible.
It was like every fucking skank in Skank Village had come out of their gutter home trash area to watch a movie, because these bitches and people acted like they had never seen anything outside their hovel. And when they have a one fucking antenna TV and they watch one thing, like, you know what I felt like we were, like, what was behind us and what was behind us again was the fucking people from The Hills Have Eyes.
Yeah.
Damn. Like, they were, like, most of it just, like, flowed together and, like, it became, like, a new language that I didn't understand because I was trying my best to block it out. But it was so hard.
They were both talking at the same time.
I know, I enjoy it. Like, how the fuck do you have that happen? Like, if Mike and I have talked at the same time, I go, what do you think? Like, how do you do that?
It was louder than this review. I mean, it was.
Yeah,
it was bad. And like the woman, the first woman even, like she was the repeater though. She was watching the movie, but she was aghast of everything. Like when he steps on, in the trailer, they step on the thing to get ready to do the morphing time thing, and the thing lights up. Literally, the fucking light comes on, and she goes, oh my God! Like just literally repeating fucking everything that happened.
She said that when Jason steps on the, which I thought that was badass, but when Jason steps on the glowing pads, it's morphin time, which I mean, I thought it would be corny, it was actually sounding cool. But she was like, it's morphin time. I'm like, nobody needs you to repeat it, bitch. We know it's morphin time. Take your fucking goddamn popcorn, shove it up your asshole, and go the fuck out of the theater and get hit by a semi-truck.
It's like you've never gone anywhere. These people wouldn't have been, they would have been kicked out of fucking Golden Corral. Like, that's how bad it was. And then, like, literally, like, fucking, at one point, I literally leaned up in my seat, and just, I had to scoot, and there's a dude right here, too, and I was like, I can't even hear the fucking movie.
Yeah, it was bad.
It was the worst, like the worst theater experience I've ever had in my life, and still.
So it's like they have fucking posters and signs, and they even have it advertised on right before the movie starts. It's rude to be a bitch and a cunt and a dickhead and talk during a movie because everybody paid the same amount to go and see this. So shut the fuck up and enjoy it and talk about it afterwards.
And the sad thing is, the manager of the theater, I almost went out to complain, but they know my kid, so I didn't want to make like see. So I was literally stuck in hell.
Well, I mean, it's kind of ridiculous at this point. I mean, come on, like. You know it's bad to go talk. I mean, they weren't whisper talk. They were talking. Like we're talking.
Yeah.
They were talking. I mean, there was no whisper at all.
And I was given all the signs. I literally did this. I held my arm up and put my finger in my ear so the lady behind me could see it. And there were no fucks given.
She might have just thought you wanted to smell your earwax.
Jesus Christ.
But I mean, yeah, there was multiple times that we both did something and it just they didn't care.
They don't care.
No
one is at the theater to hear what you think.
So please, if you go to the theater, be respectful and fucking don't get on your fucking cell phone. Don't message or call or talk.
I would have taken that shit.
Yeah, just go somewhere the fuck else and talk. Like, just leave the theater. Like, why are you paying money if all you're gonna do is talk?
Follow a simple rule, I say. If you have to whisper, if you have to say something to the person next to you, more than 2 sentences, whispered. Whisper 2 sentences. Over that, you should be fucking electrocuted.
And you know what I felt like at this point? I felt like these bitches that we fucking had behind us were not, and both sets, the other ones and the original one, were like in Wolf of Wall Street. They were trying to outdo the people that have been assholes before, and it was like Matthew McConaughey telling them, those are rookie numbers. You gotta pump those numbers up. You gotta pump those numbers up. Because it's like they kept going.
I literally thought
it's like it almost felt like they were trolling us. They were trying to piss us off.
Dude, I felt like I was on Punk'd. I was like, Ashton!
I know.
Where the fuck are you
it's
right
like,
now? This is
you guys
impossible.
are literally trying to piss people off. There's no way that you're that dense that you don't think that anybody else is affected by your fucking loud, dumb shit voice.
So that's all.
And you know I'm telling the truth because I'm wearing a tie and I don't have to fucking explain it too much longer.
Jay was like, hey man, after the movie, he's like, you want to go get a beer? And I was like, I honestly don't feel like it's safe. Like at this point, the way my night's going, I feel like if we go somewhere, something bad will happen. I'm just gonna go home. I'm gonna choose not to eat with you. I'm gonna eat my waffles
Shut down the
here.
engines.
I'm gonna recharge, and like literally, it ruined my entire fucking night.
It was so bad.
It was the worst thing.
I'm glad we could get you a review out of it though, because at some point I was really questioning whether or not we were going to be able to enjoy the movie to give you guys a review.
Oh, if this was something more serious, it's over. Like I would not have been able to follow what the fuck was going on.
I don't know. It was bad. Yeah.
So, had to catharsize that. I literally almost on my way home, like fucking stopped and like Patrick Bateman someone. just to fucking catharsize my rage. But, so we love the fucking movie. The movie's great. Definitely go see it. If we missed anything, that's why. And guys, let's share the love. Let's shut the fuck up at the movie theater.
Right.
Shut the fuck up at the movie theater. We love your fucking faces. Comment down below with your thoughts and your worst movie theater experiences. We love your fucking faces. If you're new to the channel, click that subscribe button and get some goddamn wham up in you.
We watched a movie. Yeah. We watched a movie. We watched it. We watched a movie.